All right, everybody. We now welcome on Nick Hoffman, driver of the number 9 World of Outlaws NOS Late Model, a man of the people here. What you got? You got snowboards back there on the wall, dude?
Yeah, do a couple snowboarding trips a year. Last year I got to go to Breckenridge and Vail. So I enjoy it. Just a little bit of off season, the little off season we get, but got to do something different, you know.
Dude, I was about to say, like, what off season, bro? After being there this past weekend and learning about all of the traveling that you guys have to do, that is that's wild, bro. That you're built different, essentially.
Yeah, and a little different than like the sprint car side. Most of us drivers have to, drive the rig or the merchandise trailer or this or that. So, yeah, I drive the rig to every single event. So I got to crew chief the car, drive the race car, and drive the rig, and then I got 3 really good crew guys right now. So it takes a little bit off of me once I get to the racetrack. But yeah, as far as the off season go, these guys are down here digging already. We got the Dome coming up here in a couple weeks. That's one of our biggest events. And then I'll go run Chili Bowl too. So we fire back up second week of January. So there ain't much.
Yeah, man. The dome's one I heard about. So obviously, there's a good bit of stuff that I want to talk with you about. Just kind of dipping my feet into the world of dirt. The most that I knew about dirt racing, from where I was coming from before I moved here to North Carolina. Are you familiar with Pike County Speedway in Mississippi?
I know of it. That's about it.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you what it looks like. Nothing.
All right, so that's where I would go to a few dirt races. I had a buddy of mine that did some late model dirt racing out there, and that was really the only experience that I ever had in that world. Going out to the Charlotte Dirt Track and experiencing 3 different types of cars and how big that event really is. Just, I guess, talk to me a little bit about how this started for you. Like, because from what I gathered, you may not have originally had dirt racing on your I guess your vision board at some point in time. Like, how did your entire career kind of get started?
Yeah, so I'm originally from the St. Louis area. I was on the Illinois side of the Mississippi, but my dad dirt raced, so I grew up around it. But I always had the envision of being a NASCAR driver like any other kid, you know. So we packed up when I was 10 years old. My dad was an engine builder. We moved down here to North Carolina so he could build motors, and then myself try and chase this NASCAR dream, you know. And actually was tied in with Carl Edwards at the time. He moved with us. So Carl did a lot for my career growing up, and just really cool the success he had. When he moved down here with us, he had no ride or anything, was just kind of hoping that he could find something, and he got that deal with Roush. So that was our ties. And then, yeah, I did a lot of asphalt racing, Bandoleros, legend cars, a little bit of asphalt late model stuff to transition into getting approved to run a truck. And then ran 3 truck races when I was 18 for Mike Mittler. And that all ties back into Carl. Carl drove for Mike, and my dad was working there when Carl was driving for Mike. So, so I did a lot of asphalt racing. And then when I was, backtrack to 14, is when I started getting back into like dirt racing, or, trying to start my career dirt racing and do some street stock stuff. And then eventually modifieds when I was 15, and moved through the ranks there pretty quick, on the asphalt side and the dirt side. I made a living racing modifieds. Everybody kind of knows that. I just got to be pretty good and winning a bunch of modified races. And the next step for me turns into super late models on dirt. And yeah, when I knew the NASCAR side really wasn't feasible or not going to happen for me, I just focused all my eggs in one basket on racing on dirt, and started making a name for myself racing modifieds. And I started my chassis business when I was 19, straight out of high school, and we're still striving today. So it's pretty cool. We're 14 years into a chassis business here. We're getting ready to be 14 years, and it's still clicking. And now I'm making a living racing dirt late models. So I would say it's a dream come true. You always want to race NASCAR and stuff like that. But, now I'm at the top step of dirt racing with the World of Outlaws. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, and I think that for anybody that was coming over from like just, maybe mainly NASCAR watchers or IndyCar watchers that had followed my content for a little while, like they got to see it's just as big of a show, I feel like, as NASCAR and IndyCar can be. It's just its own like category. With the modifieds, they interest me. That's like some Mad Max looking cars, dude. Like what are the big key differences between like a modified and a late model car?
Yeah, so what you've seen this weekend was a big block modified, and that's totally different from what I did. The big block side is really big in the Northeast, New York, Pennsylvania, even into Canada and stuff like that. I raced what you would call like an IMCA or UMP modified. UMP is the series that I ran 100% of my time, and that's really big in the Midwest. And so that's what I build. You're looking at, a car that's only on an 8-inch tire and, upwards of 700 to 750 horsepower. So a very high horsepower, low grip type car. So I feel like it teaches you a lot moving into late models or anything else you want to do. So you look at a lot of the top late model guys in the country, Jimmy Owens, Ricky Thornton Jr., a lot of those guys raced modifieds growing up or throughout their career. Mike Marlar. I mean, there's just a ton of us guys that were really good in modifieds, and, you transition to full-time late models, and I wouldn't say comes easy or comes quicker, but it's just a matter of it teaches you a lot. So it's I would say a feeder series into the late model side, and then the late models is what you gotta do to make a career out of it.
Yeah, you've said before that the late models are a lot more cutthroat than the modifieds. Yes. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, just the type of racing. It's just way more aggressive. When you throw the green in a late model race, I mean, you have to be elbows up, and you don't save tires anymore or save equipment. It's like if we're running a 50-lap race like Saturday night, I mean, it's get it on from the get-go, and just very cutthroat racing of like slide or be slid. You see that a lot in sprint car, midget racing, and that's how late models is pretty much transitioned. It used to be like late models was a bunch of old guys, back in the day. It was like, the guys that are 40, 50 years old and stuff. Now you're getting a bunch of, I mean, hell, there was a kid in the field the other night that was 13 years old that made the race.
Malone, right?
Yeah, Becca Malone was 13 years old, and the kid's really good. But he made the race, and that says a lot to begin with. And then you got a lot of guys in their teens and then 20s, and I'm, now in my early 30s, and I'm getting up there with, the older guys. So definitely seems like the race span of your career is longer in a late model than, say, a sprint car or an open wheel guy, if you want it to be. But I feel like you get in your prime in your 30s to early 40s in late model racing.
It seems that way. I mean, I feel like 30s are your prime, like no matter what you do, almost in a way. It's like you have enough understanding and enough of a, I guess, kind of like a portfolio to pull around with you of like what your knowledge is. And the fact that you can be 13 years old and be out there, though, it's an insane thought to me. I mean, how many kids are starting out? Like, are they usually around that age when they start out?
No, not at all. He's been racing some crate late model stuff, which is a lot of times a feeder into the super late model side, and he won a couple pretty big crate races. So he's a little bit different, but I would say most guys are starting super racing at 16 or so. Now, Bobby Pierce, I will say, started it when he was 13, and obviously he's right now the best in the country. But
yeah.
He was very young, but he was just fortunate that his dad was building cars and they could stick him in a car and get him laps and stuff. So I would say most of the time they're at least 18. And there's no technical age limit. It's just you got to basically prove yourself. And Beckham has done that. And obviously to even make the field in a 70-car race is a pretty big deal. So, so you kind of see him all over the board. I really I got a couple starts when I was like 20. 19, 20 range, and just wasn't great. I didn't do a very good job, and wish I would have knew then what I know now, and a lot of stuff, but it's just a matter of racing more. And this late model side, if you don't do it full time, and I mean, most of us are racing now 80 races a year, no problem. If you don't do that, then you're going to fall behind and not be near as good. So you got to race a lot.
Yeah, that's why I was saying you just got to be built different. One guy that I did know about that was really built different was Scott Bloomquist, and you have raced for him before in the past. That dude is just. He seems like even off the track, like the pictures of him where he was just shirtless, he's in the car. How did that relationship start between the two of you guys?
Yeah, so he got to be like watching a little bit of my modified success and how I race. You know, Scott was always a guy who ran right in the middle of the racetrack, very smooth. That's how he won all of his races. And I was kind of the same way of like, I don't go up there and hit the wall to win the race, and don't run a cushion or anything like that. I kind of focus my time on the middle or bottom of the racetrack, kind of how he was. And then he was tied in with Cody Summer. Cody's the promoter of the Dome, and Cody was the manager of that team for a while. And so Cody's one of my best friends. And so Cody kind of put that deal together for me. And Scott was injured and needed somebody to drive for him. So I came in and was able to race for almost 6 months for him there. And some of the best times of my life. I mean, it was fun. As far as Scott's just a different personality. He's a showman. Like, he is so good when the lights are on of doing, whether it was the crotch chop or coming out of Gateway with Rico on his shoulders. I mean, he just lived for those moments, you know, and sold more T-shirts than anybody ever, you know, in dirt racing or asphalt racing, like combined motorsports in general. Nobody sold more merchandise than Scott Bloomquist, you know. He was our Dale Earnhardt, you know, like everybody knew the face. They knew who he was. He did intimidate people just because how he comes off. But, I mean, away from the racetrack, he was such a genuine and a nice guy. Like, he was fun to be around and stuff. And, I was just very, very fortunate to get to drive for him. There was very few drivers in their whole careers that ever got to race with Scott or drive for Scott. And I was just proud to be one of those. And I say it a lot now. If it wasn't for that time with him, I don't feel like I'd be where I am today. It led me down this path of becoming a full-time late model driver, and he taught me a bunch. So it was cool. I just was trying to be like a sponge and soak up as much knowledge as I could. And it sucks we don't have him here now. You know, like, he was so big for dirt late model racing in general. And it's just crazy that he's not here anymore.
Yeah, and I feel like I learned about him too late in my life. I feel like this would have been a guy that I would have loved to have followed throughout, because I always like reach out for like those unorthodox kind of like souls that are out there doing different things. And
man, he was so much different. I mean, he believed in aliens. I mean, he just thought different. Like, he swears he's seen aliens. I mean, he just was built different for sure, and it was pretty wild.
What's one of the like most unorthodox things that he taught you that maybe you still use today, like in the racing world?
Just I don't even know. Like, he worked harder than everybody. It felt like that was probably what won him the most races throughout his career. Like, everybody always says you work hard in the shop, this and that, but Scott literally was a guy that, like, he wouldn't go to sleep unless he got something figured out. And there was times where like we were switching rear ends and changing stuff, you know, at 2 or 3 in the morning just because he wasn't happy with how things lined out or whatever. So I don't know, that and just the smallest little things. I mean, the way he did things was different, but just like I'm very OCD, but you know, I've always color matched like a pop rivet and stuff like that, but he would make you go through a wrap, and if it was orange over here, you use an orange rivet. If it's white here, you use a white rivet. Like, everything had to be perfect, you know, on every single piece of that race car. And I just feel like that's what probably got him so far ahead of everybody in the late 90s, early 2000s, is he was just so perfection on everything, every little piece. So I would say I took that from, like, just make sure you do, you know, you don't shortcut anything.
Yeah, so he's kind of the methodical madman a little bit.
Yes, 100%. And I'm telling you, like, it was crazy to me because, you know, he's an older guy, and you would think most of them older guys that are old race car drivers, that they don't really care about iRacing and all the new technology and this and that. And this guy, he loved that shit. Like, he would sit on that iRacing rig all night and just cut laps, and then like he would be like, hey, you gotta go beat this lap, and I'd have to get on there and run, you know, for a couple hours to beat him. And it's like, it was just wild to see that side of Scott. That I mean, he was a normal guy, but it was just like, you know, he loved that kind of stuff. He lived for racing.
It sounds like, yeah, he was one of those that like stayed current with the times. like, and that gives you an edge more than most people realize, is like doing that. So I mean, like, obviously, you know, working with anybody like him is an awesome thing, and you're 3 years now into your World of Outlaws career. You just actually, I saw this posted on X the other day, and I wanted to ask you about it. You are the inaugural winner of the Coltman Farms Racing Cup. Can you talk to us a little bit about what that is and how cool that feels to be an inaugural winner of something? Like, you'll have that in history for the rest of your life.
Yeah, so Coltman Farms sponsors a lot of cars, and they do a lot for motorsports. And they announced this deal earlier this year to do this Coltman Farm Cup. And basically all it is the crown jewel races for our World of Outlaws season. So we had, I think it might have been like 12 different events, but it was more than that as far as races. Like this weekend was 3 of them, you know, at Charlotte. So it was basically a points championship towards all those crown jewel races. So it just means that I was the best as far as the big races, the ones that paid the most and all that. I just, it was really cool for me. That one, it was really nice for anybody to set up that little series to, you know, go on top of the championship side. And obviously didn't get the championship, ended up second there, but to get the Coltman Farm Cup was really neat. And we didn't know what we were actually getting. We knew it paid $7,500 to win. And they just told us, hey, this trophy is really cool. Like, didn't tell us anything more about it. And then at the World Finals there, they unveiled the trophy, which was a 1,200-pound gun safe. Yeah, it's a massive safe. And this safe, I looked it up, this safe costs more than what it paid to win.
Holy
so
shit.
It's pretty badass. And so 1,200-pound safe, I ended up winning this thing and had to drag it home. I'd hate to be, if Bobby would have beat me and him would have to put this thing in his hauler to get it home, it was going to be a bitch. So I was able to get it home and put it in its place. And it's pretty wild. It's a really cool trophy. Just Brett Coltman, he kind of explained it as like, I want something different, like the Martinsville clock, this and that. So he's like, I want to do a gun safe. And so it's really neat. It's a pretty cool centerpiece as soon as you walk in my shop.
Yeah, man. And speaking of like your place, so like I was talking to you online. I know I came out to the track and like I felt like an immediate idiot because I'm just like, hey, you know, how you doing, whatever. I've literally been out to like your hangout at your crib, like your man cave. And I know that there's a lot of people that talk about that kind of in the series a little bit. I know you're good buddies with Ricky, with Larson, everybody. You know, having a place like that for everyone to come around, like how often does everyone still get to like come over and just kind of hang out and like shoot the shit on table hockey like I basically did for hours?
So we seen the sun come up Sunday morning.
Oh, shit.
Saturday night after the World Finals. I pretty much tabbed that as my big party every year. And it's nice. It's just a bunch of us racers and a couple crew guys and whoever else. I built this place as just a big hangout. That's where I'm at right now, is my Bluetooth Tavern. You can see it on my snowboard back there, the sticker. But I just tabbed it as the Bluetooth Tavern. And I had to build it as a house in order to build my shop this big. So I just built it as a big bar and a hangout area. It's got 2 bedrooms for my crew guys to live in. And it's just really cool. And I get a lot of guys that come over throughout the year too, just because Longhorn Chassis is on the same road as me. They're just 5 miles that way. And so you get a lot of guys that are coming in town to build a new late model at Longhorn, and they can come stop by my place and hang out and have a drink and stuff like that. So, but Saturday night, the World Finals has turned into a complete shit show, basically. But it's a pretty good time. We had Donnie Schatz. I have a modified, one of my original Elite car that I built in 2012 inside my bar, and it's upstairs. Like we had Donnie Schatz up there at 5 a.m. climbing his ass in this modified. It was pretty funny. Yeah. So it's just really cool. You get a guy like Donnie Schatz wants to come and hang out at your place. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, dude's got one of the most funnest names to say too. Like every time he was like out there on the track that night when we all thought that he had a chance to win, it was just shot. Just
so Ross Weiss made a video of that, posted on social media because at the banquet on Sunday they played that song and they just panned over to Donnie. It's pretty good.
That's perfect, dude. That's exactly how it should be. So you said the next race for you coming up is going to be the Dome, right? How are you looking to execute out there? Because I've heard that is kind of like one of the crown jewels of dirt racing.
Yeah, it's turned into a massive event. unbelievable. I've been fortunate to run really well there. I've won a prelim night in a modified, and I've won a prelim night in a late model. I just haven't won on Saturday yet. And I tell people that's probably the one I want to win more than any race in the country. Just being from St. Louis, the trophy's really cool. It just means a lot to me. And I haven't got to win on Saturday yet, so hopefully we can maybe get that done this year. But just a huge event. It's unbelievable as far as a driver, how much support you get from fans, merchandise side. It's pretty incredible, and it's turned into a crown jewel. It pays really well. You get, and it's a great equalizer, like as far as pretty much anybody can go there and have a shot. A lot of these bigger racetracks, it gets tough. It starts coming down to equipment and setup stuff more than the dome is kind of a free for all. It's like, you just never know. And a lot of it has to be luck, like whether it's a pill draw or not getting ran over on a restart or this and that. There's so many things that play into it, but it is a huge event. And then it's in downtown St. Louis. So when the races are over, you can go hang out at bars or whatever you want to do. It's something that I feel like everybody in motorsports, don't matter if you're an asphalt fan or a dirt fan, you need to see it at some point in your career.
Yeah, I love the idea of filling up like Busch Stadium with just a bunch of just like race guys. Because when I go out there to like Worldwide or whatever, like we'll go for NASCAR or for IndyCar. Always got to go over to that area in downtown St. Louis. Always a fun time. Being from New Orleans too, like it's kind of like anything along the Mississippi. You get to where like that's it. So you being from there is huge. Chili Bowl's another one I'll be kind of like looking at this year as well. So just really happy to get a little bit deeper into the dirt world now that I'm up here. Definitely gonna have to come and kick it with you some more. One question I did have from Botabs here in our chat. Was asking about Tyler Seary, and if you had saw that accident that happened to him. I mean, it's a little bit more the scarier side of what you guys go through. Yeah, I've heard that he is okay, but yeah, that was a pretty rough one. Do you chat with him or talk to him at all?
No, I mean, I know him through big block racing of Max McLaughlin, I believe, drove for him a couple of years ago and stuff. And yeah, that was a scary crash. I mean, we all know what we're up against whenever we strap in that thing, and you just don't expect that kind of stuff will happen. It's just we don't really have any good videos of what exactly happened, but from what I kind of understand is he ended up hitting driver's side into that opening and in turn 3, and man, by the time they got the video to the car, like got the camera over to it, that thing was disintegrating. You couldn't even tell who it was, and yeah, definitely a scary situation. And Stuart Friesen, kind of the same deal earlier this year, got very hurt in the same type of car and I wouldn't say a very similar situation, but just hit on a blunt end of a wall, and it sucks. So yeah, it looks like he's going to make a full recovery. But that was a tough hit. I mean, I think he broke his arm, ribs, sternum, had burns on his leg. I mean, it definitely sucks. You don't want to see that in any type of motorsports, right? But that one was pretty crazy. It was a very eerie feeling because, like, I remember coming out of the trailer and I didn't even know what happened. And it was just so quiet. And then you look at the board and they're just showing, a couple cars parked on the back straightaway as far as, like, under red flag. And so I was like, somebody must have crashed pretty bad. And, yeah, that was a pretty eerie feeling for sure.
You guys put the balls on the dash, dude. I mean, we all know that y'all are built a little bit different, and it shows, especially in those moments like that. So glad he is okay, and really just excited to get to follow your career a little bit more, and especially maybe get to hang out a little bit more now that we're up here in this area. But just wanted to thank you for coming on the show today, man, talking with us, getting a little bit more of the people that watch, a little bit more acclimated maybe with the dirt world, and we'll definitely be rooting for you when you go out there and Gateway, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And I'm a race fan of all forms of motorsport. I love NASCAR. I love all those guys. I'm friends with quite a few of them, and I don't care what it is. If there's a race on, I'm going to watch it. So I feel like, all fans need to be that way. You don't love or hate one or the other. We're all a big family, and it's just really cool to see people, start crossing over from one to the other.
Rising tide, that's what they say, man. And I guess just knowing that, one more question I'll ask you. I've been kind of gathering this, been doing kind of like an internal poll. NASCAR playoffs or no playoffs? What do you say?
Yeah, I'm a no playoffs guy. Just a couple dirt series have went that way. Lucas went that way with the playoff deal, and I don't know. It don't pan out. I feel like as good as it should. Kyle's one of my buddies, so like I was pumped up that he won the championship. Obviously,
he's a winner, yeah.
Yes. It sucks that Denny lost it the way he did, and that's just a part of the playoff situation. It just sucks. But yeah, I can see how they can build hype around it, and it's good sometimes. But as far as a racer and a competitor, I feel like the no playoff side is how you actually win a championship.
There you go, and there you have it. Well, Nick, thanks so much, man, for being on, and best of luck to you. We'll be talking pretty soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, appreciate you guys.